So I'm here at Rauhala during one of the lowest tides, and I'm rarely here when the tide's this low, but the tide is so low you can see it's down to the mudflats, which is usually underwater. You can see the mudflats here, and the water's right in line with the rocky ledge. And what I'm going to show you, I just want to check something out here, is what remains of the old logging that happened in this area between the 1920s to 1930s. There's this old tractor tread from the Cat, which is a caterpillar, like a piece of heavy equipment, like a bulldozer almost looking thing. And at the lowest tides here at Rauhala, it's exposed. So we're just gonna take a look at it because it's not all the time you get to see it. And here it is. I don't want to disturb those geese, so I'm not going to go any further than this. And I don't have to show you this. But this is an old cat track that's right at the low tide mark here. The lowest tide when you're here at Rauhala. And the geese just took off behind me there. I just came across this cool looking sea worm here at the mudflats at Rauhala. Look at it trying to find a burrow to go in. Cool looking thing. Neat. Here you can see the old railway rails here on the beach at Rauhala, and that's because there was once a boathouse up in this area a very long time ago. Here's what looks like an old shoe buried in the ground. Maybe I'll pull it up sometime. This is a jellyfish, and you don't want to touch those because the tentacles still have venom in that, and it does cause an irritation. This is a pretty big one. They're not usually this big. You can see a size comparison to my foot. I'm a size 8 foot. But yeah, that's a pretty big jellyfish. This is methane gas that is coming up from a coal seam that is under the earth here, and you can see the bubbling up here. I'll zoom in. Here's a good example. And this, you don't see this all the time out here at Rauhala, but in the area there is a test borehole. In around 1906, they were testing to see if there was a good viable seam of coal to have a coal mine on the island. They knew there was coal in the air because of this bubbling coming up. So they knew there was something here, but they didn't know where the good coal was until they found Suquash on the northern end of Vancouver Island. But here you could see it, and if you listen, you could hear it bubbling up. I'm just going to go over closer to where it's bubbling here so you could hear it. Here's another good example of the natural gas bubbling up. Here in this area, it's really bubbling up lots. And it's usually in the summer when you see this. It's not all the time. This whole area is really lively right now with the methane gas coming up from deep down in the earth where the coal is. If you listen, it sounds like boiling water. And sometimes it gets so strong with so much of this coming up that it actually looks like the water is boiling. I'm just walking up to another patch of gas bubbling up here. You could see there's a patch of it there, just off the edge of the water here. And that's all methane gas coming up from a coal seam. Oh, here's a bunch of it over here coming up. It's a really good day to show this. Again, this isn't all the time, so I'm just lucky to be here at the right place at the right time to see it. Here you could really hear the bubbling. This is a pretty violent patch of bubbling water coming up. And I know you're curious and wondering if you take a match to this and light it on fire or a lighter to try and ignite it. No, it will not ignite. But look at that. Natural gas coming up from the coal seam down in the earth. Even higher up the beach, in between the rocks, you could see the bubbling coming up. This natural gas is creeping its way through the seams in the earth. I've been here one time a long time ago, and it sounded just like a jet engine going off. Out there, it looks like the water's boiling. And this is part of an old fish farm dock, you could see. That's where you would walk, and this would be flipped over, and these are the floats that keep the dock afloat. And sometimes you find things like this washed up on the beaches out here. And you're looking at Rauhala, the Bay of Peace. Wow, today's quite the day. I'm lucky to be here right now when this is going on, because again, this doesn't happen all the time. But look at that. It almost looks like the water is boiling. There's so much gas coming up. And you can see in this area as the rocks are turning brown, they're kind of stained, a rust stain. And that's from minerals coming up with this gas that's bubbling up here. It's really bubbling here. I'm gonna get down so you can take a better look at this. And listen to that. It's almost like the ocean's boiling. And just up the beach from where all that gas is bubbling up, I'm just following the horse and buggy trail that goes through Rauhala. And I'm just going to show you here where that borehole, the test borehole is, which borders Rauhala. And it's just up in the woods here from the mouth of the horse and buggy trails that leaves our farm and goes off into the woods on the way to Mitchell Bay. Oh, here it is. And there's two of these on Melkosari Milk Mine. The other one is closer to the lighthouse. And I've actually never been to that one, but I know where it is on a map, so I'm going to go find it at some point. But this is the first borehole, borehole 1, that was put in the ground here at Rauhala around 1906, and it goes down 100 meters, so it's very deep. But over the course of over 100 years, it's kind of caved in. But this is the test borehole when they were looking for the coal seam in the earth. And again, they knew there was coal in the area because of that natural gas boiling up. Now I have the records pertaining to the coal mining operation here on Melkosari Milk Island when they were first looking for the coal. And so I have detailed diagrams of what it looks like going down into the earth. I'll have to dig it up. It's in my research papers there. Maybe I'll make a video on this sometime. This is borehole 1 on Melkosari Milk Island, and it borders our property, Rauhala. And this is what was under the ground, what they pulled from under the ground out of the borehole. You could see at what depths here and what they found at that depths. It says sandstone, coarse gray, and all these different things in the layers going down into the earth and at what depth. And here's another interesting piece of information. Malcolm Island Subarea, PCCM, or Pacific Coast Coal Mining and Associates, drilled 2 holes here, one before March 1908 and a subsequent one still drilling on March 16, 1908. Geologist Wilkinson Seymour. Malcolm Island number 1, southern shore of Malcolm Island, halfway between Rough Bay and Mitchell Bay, 1,613 feet deep, no workable seams of coal. And that would be the one in reference to Rauhala. And the second one is South Shore Malcolm Island, 2.5 miles west of Rough Bay. And there's only 2 on Melkosari Malcolm Island. Hello everybody, Roger here again, and I'm back at Suquash. I just wanted to take a closer look at some of the things out here, so yeah, let's go take a look. So here's the old building, and from where I'm standing, this little ridge going around the chimney is just above my head level, and that at one time was the floor. So where I am is either like a cellar or a basement area, and that was a wood stove on the inside of the house. And that seam going around was once the floor. Here's the other chimney over there, looking way up. And I'm just walking here at the Suquash site with my mother, just to show you that it's fairly easy accessibility for all ages. It is a really cool looking place. to come visit. These towering chimneys at Suquash. What are you looking at, Mom?
This looks more like a fireplace than that one did.
Yeah, they're both fireplaces. Yeah. That one's probably more like the main one, and then, but here also, you could see.
Another part of the building.
Yeah, you could see here, right here, is like where the floor was, and where we're standing right now is like the basement. And down below here must be where they collected the ashes or something. Yeah, dug out. Looking over at the other side there. But you can see the trail's well kept. It's pretty flat. Easy walking through here. You just got to make sure you don't go too close to the edge. As you can see, it's quite the drop off. Yeah. He's got a little home at the roots of the tree here. And you just got to be really careful. Again, it is quite the drop down. I'm really not sure what it is, so I call it the archway thing. It's a big cement structure with an archway through it. It looks like it's hollow up above, so it's some sort of smoke stack. So it must have been a building here of some sort, but I'm really not sure what it was. But yeah, up above there where that tree is some sort of opening. So we'll just take a walk around this side. This is all bricks here, but yeah, up there, and then there's an opening up there. Let's go around the trees here. There's the bricks, some sort of brick wall, and there's metal going through. Here's the other side of the archway. You could get a little better view of that opening up there. And then there's a round hole. I'll just move around a little bit so you can see the round hole going up through, like it's some sort of chimney. And then the archway goes through here. Here you can see my mom. Wave. Looking through the archway there. And here's that steam donkey or whatever it is. Here again, taking a look at it. And it says Washington Iron Works Company, Seattle, USA. And then we have this huge machine, whatever it was. It is really cool and really big. And here I'm just approaching the surface coal here at Suquash on the beach, northern Vancouver Island. Here's the coal now. You can see all this black stuff I'm walking on. But the last time I was here, there was signs of the tool marks from whatever machine was used to rip apart the surface coal. I'm going to try and see if I can find it again and point it out to all of you. Here we go. You could see these strips going through the coal seam here. And that's something, I'm not sure exactly what, but whatever machine that was used to strip away the seam of the coal. Now here's a piece of coal. The whole thing is coal, but if you look up here, it's all shiny. And you look down here, there's a whole seam layer of that shiny stuff. So that shiny stuff is really a higher grade of coal.
More than likely.
Well, I'm going to head back into Port McNeill because I have to catch a ferry back to Swantala. So I hope you enjoyed this little video as we revisited Suquash and explored it a little further. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. All right, ciao.